All right, everybody, welcome to the Near Fall Podcast, recorded live in Old California. Recorded live, we know, it doesn't make any sense, but it's still recorded, it's still live. If we mess up, we'll have to go back. Either way, we're here, you're here with me, J-Bone and
Cody.
We're flying solo ×2 today, so that's all you're going to get. Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Solo ×2. It's two people. There's two of us. That's what you got. The Near Fall Nation is hemorrhaging members left and right. And those are the only two members we've lost, and those are the only two directions, so it works out perfect. We still have our esteemed producer, William J. Pimble. Still working on a nickname for him. Still working on a nickname for Cody. But you know, we'll figure all that stuff out. We got a great show for you guys today. We're going to talk about NXT. We're going to talk about Raw. And that's about all we're going to talk about. But we do have a great interview. We just recorded it live a few minutes ago with Randy Terrez, formerly of OVW. Great guy, awesome worker. So he's going to be about 20 minutes with us.
15-year vet in the industry. Got a heavy lucha background.
All around great cat.
I think we should kick right into Raw. I don't really want to cover the whole.
I thought it was all around a
show.
Solid Raw, though. I think we could do a 2-hour and 45-minute review on it.
Oh, we could, but we'd have no listeners at the end.
Yeah. We are up, though. I want to thank everybody out there that's hit the download button for us, smashed on the download button. You know, we're ticking up there. We got a few hundred plays, so if you could just, you know, start spreading the word. I'm thinking about when I see somebody out in public and they got a wrestling shirt on, just walking up to them, maybe hitting them with a card that says, download this Near Fall Pod. You'll love it, or you won't love it, or either way, maybe we have like a John Cena-esque relationship with it where you hate it, but you still listen to it so you can talk about how much you hate it.
We can get the producer on Vistaprint as we speak. Get us 300 cards for $10.
Well, we can't get him a damn microphone, so maybe he can do that. You know what I mean? He's got a whole bag full of microphones here. He's got one laid out, but he's unplugged it. He refuses to be on the pod. But I understand a pod of this caliber, you don't want to just throw yourself right into it. But I think before we get to Raw, we got to give credit where credit is due to Brian Taft Ryan for taking the pick selection challenge and the WWE Fantasy Wrestling Championship from the last pay-per-view, Payback. He came in with 10 points. So, yeah, I mean, he got lucky because his picks were bogus, but he got lucky. So I think that I had a solid 8. I was really let down by the Bellas, which really just kind of put me through the bottom. But, hey, you know what? You can't win them all. As long as you win, you know, one every now and then, you'll be all right.
I had 8 as well, but I redeemed myself at NXT with a clean sweep, 5 for 5.
First NXT show he's watched, too, and he gets 5 points. That's crap. I don't think you get 5 points because you didn't pick no contest for the last match. So
Kevin Owens still has the belt. Sami Zayn looked like a rag doll.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
I win.
I think we'll get into that.
But, yeah, let's go ahead and kick it off with Raw. You know, the opening came out. Triple H and Stephanie are back together. The Authority, first time on TV together since WrestleMania.
I missed them. Can I be the JBL of this podcast? Where everything the Authority does is great, and I love it. I'll be the JBL. I'll be Joel BL. I'll be Joel BL. I'll be my nickname, Joel BL. Yeah. I loved it. Stephanie's great.
But, you know, they came out, of course, all up on Rollins, and Ambrose comes out and does a little funny rematch, tells him he wants a rematch, you know, only if the title's on the line. It's the only way Rollins is going to get a rematch with him, like he's the champ.
I liked it. I thought it was funny. What I didn't like, though, about that opening promo was the Intercontinental title. Why was it there? Like, I get you're pumping it up for the Chamber, but you don't need to have the title. They had it, like, remember when they switched from the old logo to the new logo and they had it covered with the rag and then like, oh, we're going to unveil something. And they unveiled it and it's just like the regular same thing. It was dumb.
And then I liked when they were backstage and they were drinking champagne. You could see Triple H mouth the J&J security, "Is this glass plastic?" And Dean Ambrose interrupts again and demands a rematch, and he takes a glass right out of Kane's hand and drinks it and tells him you shouldn't be drinking on the job.
Yeah, that was awesome. But they keep showing the Kane mask in the background. You think? And then Ambrose keeps bringing it up, and Kane gets all pissed. And
yeah, well, Ambrose brought up Paul Bearer and The Undertaker, kind of threw that in his face. That was kind of cool.
He said, "What do you think Paul Bearer would think about this?"
Yeah.
He'd be like, "Ah." I miss Paul Bearer.
Cena has his open challenge, and Kevin Owens, of all people, comes out, the NXT champion. And
Cody, of course, said, "Who's this guy?"
No. He is my favorite NXT wrestler. I really like him.
Out of the two, him and Sami Zayn, he's your favorite.
I know Samoa Joe too now. Spoiler alert.
Oh, Samoa Joe. Those of you who don't know, Samoa Joe showed up on NXT.
But Kevin Owens comes out, and they have a little bit of banter, and he says that he's not going to accept the open challenge now, but they'll fight someday on his terms. Cena tries to give him some veteran advice, and Kevin Owens puts him in his place, lets him know he's been doing it longer. The only difference is that he just now got his big break, so John Cena can't ever give him veteran advice. I really like that. I like how he put him in his place.
I thought he was solid on the mic, too. I mean, he's definitely a veteran, but he's not a veteran like John Cena's a veteran. I mean, John Cena's been doing it in front of 10,000 people a night for 15 years, and I don't think it was that long ago where Owens or Kevin Steen, whatever he was going by back then, was wrestling in front of like 200 people.
Right.
For sure, I thought it was awesome. And he was solid on the mic. He stumbled once a little bit, but he just kept going. He didn't dwell on it, and he really recovered nicely. I thought it was great.
The end of the show has a dedication to Seth Rollins, a little video clip that Kane supposedly put together about his up and coming from NXT all the way to today's WWE champion. And again, Dean Ambrose interrupts again. He ends up pulling out some cinder blocks and has Seth Rollins down like they did to him months back, demanding a title shot, and Stephanie gives him his title shot, so that'll be your match at Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, is that going to be the main, you think?
I would think so. If not that, then the Intercontinental Championship, the 6-on-6.
Another big announcement.
Not the 6-on-6, but a 6.
Yeah, the six-way. Was the tag elimination chamber. That shocked me. They're going to put everybody in a pod?
I called that.
So are they going to put all three guys from New Day in the pod?
No,
So
I
it's
don't
going to
think
pick
so.
two?
Yeah. You're going to definitely have Big E, like Joey had mentioned last week. You got to have Big E in there because you're going to have Cesaro in there.
Yeah, and they got to pick each other up and stuff.
So what's going to happen is you're going to have a two tag teams start. So it's going to be 2-on-2, 4 people in there. Then you're going to have 4 pods, each pod having 2 guys in it. So I think that's definitely going to be a badass match.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking forward to that one the most.
Nuts.
Even though you got the Matadors in there, and I'm so glad they're letting Primetime finally wrestle. They're probably not going to get the title all of a sudden.
Yeah, you never know.
But I definitely think that Young and Titus O'Neil are really good together. I know they were together before. They broke them up, and Darren Young wasn't around at all, and Titus O'Neil was kind of getting jobbed out with Heath Slater. But
shout out to Darren Young for hooking us up with a retweet. Had some idiot on Twitter trying to bash him, but I think we did a good job of demolishing that troll, so shout out to him. I want to jump back to the Kevin Owens thing. I know they've been working real hard to build back up the U.S. title, and then I think they just kind of, is it squelched? Is that a word? Or squashed? Squandered?
Pissed away
The momentum from all this they're doing with John Cena, where they have a guy from NXT. Now, in a lot of people's minds, right, NXT guys are rookies. They're guys off the street. A lot of people know Owens because he was immensely popular, but they have him come out easily dispatch Cena, stomp on the U.S. title, and walk off.
Which I didn't agree with that. I understand where they were coming from with that, but with an actual reality media with all these people walking all over the American flag, which pisses me off, and it pisses a lot of people off.
Anybody from America, generally.
And then you have him stepping on a belt that has the U.S. flag printed on it. I understand what he meant, but just holding them both up, looking at each of them, and then dropping the U.S. title was enough of a statement.
Yeah, I would have done it for me.
You didn't have to step on it.
Yeah, that was a dick move, Kevin Owens. I know you're probably listening secretly. You're one of the 200 plus in the old Near Fall Nation. So
he has his cousin download it so that his
name's
name's
so
not
it can't
on
be
it.
traced back. I understand that, but one day you'll be downloading it openly.
One day you're gonna call in. It's just reality.
It's inevitable. Everybody wants to call in. The list is longer than it is wide.
I think after Raw, we'll go ahead and jump right into the NXT Unstoppable Takeover.
Awesome show.
Great show. My first time watching, and as I tweeted to Triple H, but he definitely didn't retweet or favor or anything.
Yeah, well, you're not cool.
It was my first time watching it, and it made me a believer, and I definitely will be watching again.
Couple things I want to talk about the NXT show. I'm not going to go match by match. Every match, more or less, was great. I didn't have any problems with any of the matches. One thing you got something, Cody?
I didn't catch the Finn Balor, Tyler Breeze. I was having a little technical difficulty with getting it on my TV, and then once it started on my TV, it was already halfway through, and
I think it's on demand. I think you could.
Yeah, I can go back, but I'm saying I caught every one.
It was a good match
in its entirety, besides Finn Balor.
The only thing I have a problem with Finn Balor is I like the paint, I like the whole mind games, but man, he got to speed that entrance up. He's taking
slow?
like 5 minutes to get to a ring. It's too much for me. I have a short attention span. I'm from America. You know what I mean? I can't be paying attention to this for 20 minutes. The only issue, well, there was a couple of issues I had with some of the booking, but
well, you had shitty picks, so you probably had an issue
well,
with that.
actually, only missed 2, so you can just suck it easy. Was the chanting? I only missed 2. I can still see you. I'm right across the table from you.
I'm having a conversation with our producer.
I don't know what he's saying. He has no microphone. That's going to be a recurring thing. That's a thing on this show now. Much like, to tie my point in, the chanting in NXT is a thing now. I mean, they're chanting just to chant. And this is a shout-out. I was talking with some dudes on Twitter, the New Age Insiders. They got an awesome pod, much like ours. The chanting is just over the top. They're chanting for everything. And I think when it first started, the chanting was organic. It just came about, They were just chanting because it was the energy just, overcame them. Much like Cody won't admit it, but he was yesing all over the place at WrestleMania. I was sitting 2 seats down from him. Thought he broke his shoulder.
You misunderstood. I was yesing when he relinquished the Intercontinental Championship. I yesed the shit out of that house. I mean, when I was at home, my neighbors got woke up. I was yesing so loud when he retired.
Why were your neighbors asleep? We're in California. Raw comes on here at 5 o'clock.
I watch it late, bro. You don't know my life.
Pretty sure I got a pretty good handle on your life. So the chanting, I don't know, Cody. What do you think about the chanting, man? Because it's too much for me. Sasha is pregnant. What? I know it's a normal chant. It's a standard chant, but I think the chant is just a thing now that they do, and I don't understand why they're just always chanting. But you know what? It's contagious because I'm playing with my kids, and I'll be chanting like, let's go lyric, and there's no reason for it, but I'm just chanting. I'm uncontrollably chanting.
No, I agree. I actually said something to Amanda about that the chanting was a little excessive, and they were chanting everything. Mm-hmm. They were using the "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks," but for other wrestlers, they were giving them the chants like that. They had the "This is awesome" chant. I think they even did "Thank you, Joe." And it's like he's not retiring. He just debuted.
That was a promo. Thank you for the promo. I don't know. That was one of my only things. The other thing I didn't like, and I don't know how you feel about this, was I didn't like Blake and Murphy keeping the belts. I don't like the other cats.
Well, as I said, it's my first time watching, so I I'm completely oblivious to Blake and Murphy, and
even if you'd watched, you still would be because they're boring.
The big guy that can't spell, and the Joey Tribbiani reincarnated guy, whoever
With
that
the
is.
cheetah hair, Enzo Amore and Big Cass.
How you doing?
How you doing? Bada boom, realest guys in the room. I don't like them, and I don't. They're not technically sound. Obviously, the big guy doesn't have to be. He's a big guy.
Right.
He's got a place on the main roster, sooner rather than later, probably, because you think about big guys, you got to have a big guy. You got to have a giant, right? Big Show, he's decrepit. Kane's wrestled 40,000 matches since 96. Like, he's got a lot of mileage. So, yeah, they got to have another big guy. And there's no other big guys that I know of on NXT. So, I think. But I would have liked to see them win the belt. But the crowd's behind those guys, Enzo Amore and Big Cass. But the thing is, the damn crowd's behind everybody. So, it's hard to gauge. And that goes back to the chanting. It's like you don't know who's got the heat, who's catching fire. You don't really know any of that because they chant, and literally they chant for everything. So,
well, they were booing Blake and Murphy because I had told Amanda that I picked them and that might have been a bad decision before the match started. Obviously, my picks were solid.
Semi-solid.
But, I want to talk about
Jello picks.
Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn's a phenomenal wrestler. He gave a great match with the fucked up shoulder to Cena. And from footage I've seen on YouTube of NXT, he's a real good wrestler.
He's awesome, dude. He's awesome.
But for the second straight Zayn Owens match, Kevin Owens has left him incapacitated in the ring. Like, they just put Kevin Owens over or buried Zayn, however you want to look at it. And I understand he probably really does have a shoulder injury, and we talked earlier in the week, and you said he's probably going to have surgery.
That's what I read, yeah.
You didn't have to bury him that hard to give him surgery.
Yeah. And I don't think that's typically, they don't typically do that when they... what I've read is he's going to be the next guy up. Makes sense. Owens is in like 100 feuds, so he can't come up, but he's going to be the next guy up, and so you got to kind of demolish him a little bit, right?
I don't know.
They didn't do it with Neville. No,
yeah, they didn't.
Neville dropped the belt in an awesome match to Zayn. You should go back and watch that one. It'll blow your mind. And then Neville just kind of disappeared. And I don't know how they did with Rollins and how they did with Bo Dallas. And Adam Rose never had the belt. So.
Bo Dallas lost the belt to Neville and then came up, but he had his little 22-0. 22 and Bo.
It was like 400 Bo, yeah. It was like Goldberg.
But then they just killed it to R-Truth.
Well, he got hurt.
But you could have let him go without. You don't have to have a loss to go off. I mean, look at Daniel Bryan. He didn't lose and he went off, and he had a belt. He had a belt.
Well, he was hurt, legitimately hurt. So I don't know, but I agree with you, man. They really make Zayn look bad, but the thing about it is it never used to be a thing because those two shows were separate, right? Right. It was NXT. And the NXT guys didn't cross over. They might have been called up and they became WWE versions of the NXT guys, like when Neville character changed a little bit. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't like the crossover thing. Let's talk about that. What are your thoughts on the John Cena, Kevin Owens thing?
I loved how he was on Raw. And he made Cena look stupid. And he looked really hard, and it was like, you know what? He could go on Wednesday, drop the belt to Zayn, and then show up at the Elimination Chamber and be your United States champion. But then, on TakeOver, you have him demolishing Sammy, so you know he's not going to lose, but it still, gives you good credibility to have him give Cena a really great match. Samoa Joe comes out, and now Kevin Owens looks like Tyler Breeze.
Yeah, he's running. He's scared.
Oh, not tonight. I mean, you're supposed to be a hard ass, so it doesn't matter if you fought 4 times tonight. Somebody else comes.
500 times, yeah.
Yeah, somebody else comes and wants a piece, you give it to him. So I didn't like it just because you can't have him a badass on WWE and then get punked out by a brand new guy on NXT then 2 nights later.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about Samoa Joe. I don't really know a whole lot about Samoa Joe. Does he wrestle with a shirt on?
No.
Because I don't want to sound like I might be on Grindr, but I don't care for guys who wrestle with a shirt on. I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. I think it kind of is not cool. But speaking of shirts, what did you think about Owens coming out in the John Cena shirt?
I loved it.
I marked out. I totally marked out. I thought it was one of the greatest things I'd seen in a long time. So, I loved it. Long story short, the show was great. There were virtually no low spots other than some nitpicky booking shit that we're talking about. But for the most part, it was a great show.
Yeah, and then Samoa Joe comes out in a shirt. I thought it looked like you could buy it at like Buckle or something. It was like an Affliction reject shirt.
Yeah, Samoa Joe, SoCal, baby.
As soon as NXT wrapped, it was on Twitter for sale already.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was like when we went to Mania. We're walking out of Mania. It had been over for, I don't know, the smoke from the fireworks was still in the air. And they've already got the Champ is Here shirt for sale. People are already got that bad boy on. Like right after the match was over, they're like, oh, we got to start selling these. So, I don't know. Let's I know we're moving around here a lot, but Rusev. Let's talk about Rusev. What's going to happen with Rusev? Ziggs, he swooped up on Lana, but and I don't know about this, and maybe some of our female listeners, which probably just includes our wives and maybe our moms. Not your mom. Probably not my mom.
My mom doesn't give a fuck.
Hopefully my mom subscribes.
You're 27 years old and you have a wrestling podcast? I failed you as a mother.
No, that's pretty good. I think my little kid couldn't do this. There's a lot that goes into this. Look at there's a lot of money in this on this table, man. This is in-depth kind of thing, but I don't know. I always thought that Lana and Rusev were together in real life, and if they are, I don't know, man. I don't think I'd be cool with my old lady making out with Ziggs, especially if I look like Rusev. And keep in mind, I'm obviously much more handsome than Rusev. I mean, that's pretty widely known. But, man, if I look like Rusev and Zig was swooping up on my old lady, I would be upset, man. Even if it was fake or whatever, I wouldn't be like, yeah, I'm cool with this. Go out there and just lock lips all the time. They're probably locking lips at dark shows, too. Like, that's not cool.
But he has no say-so. He has no creative control.
Yeah.
And I just feel like the jury's still out on if you look better than Rusev. But
jury just came back, dude. It's confirmed.
Yeah, it's a hung jury. 6-6.
I got your 6-6 right here.
But he has no creative control.
8-6.
So he can't say anything about it.
Yeah, but you could still be upset.
Yeah, he can be upset, but does he want a paycheck or does he want Ziggler not to kiss his old lady for a couple episodes? Look, Ziggler, great guy. Great talent. I love his fucking late night tweets. They're random as hell. But he's definitely a player. Like, he ain't staying with Lana for very long anyway.
True. I just don't understand. I don't think Ziggler needs a manager. I thought they could have put Lana with somebody like maybe Adam Rose, who's kind of floundering and maybe needs someone to kind of help him along. Somebody who's over. Now he's over now after the E60 more, but he hasn't been in the ring.
I thought they were going to put her with Fandango. But I think this whole angle with Ziggler is just to get us to Elimination Chamber.
You think?
And that's it.
But Rusev and Rusev's not in. Is he in the chamber for the IC title?
Yeah, Rusev's in the chamber, and so
I
is
knew
Ziggler.
that because I follow wrestling.
But yeah, I think it's just a little 2-week gimmick to get us to Elimination Chamber. That's all that is, and we'll be done with it, and they'll find some other spot. I mean,
is she a worker? Does she work? Or she's just strictly a manager?
She's strictly a manager, I believe. Now, Renee Young, I've read stuff where she used to, or I don't know if she used to, but she tried to become a diva.
I've said this before. I'll say it again. They got to get rid of Booker, but maybe they get rid of JBL. They got to put her in the booth, man.
Before you critique Raw, I don't know if many of you watch SmackDown, but you've got to get rid of Michael Cole 2.0.
Oh, Michael Cole Jr.?
Yeah. What's his name? Tom
Cole. I don't know. It doesn't matter what his name is.
Yeah.
He's got to go.
And Byron
dude.
Saxton. Byron Saxton's too plain.
He sucks on NXT, too.
You know
Corey
what I mean?
Graves is
you need
the
to
man,
You need to bring Corey Graves up and Renee Young and let them be with the King on SmackDown. Get their feet wet there.
Yeah, I agree. Well, you don't want to bring them both up. You don't want two new guys.
You're doing it with Tom and Byron.
No, Byron's been around for a while at least. I think this could be a hot topic.
It doesn't show
for next week. I think we should probably push this to next week and cover it because we gotta fit our interview with Randy in. But man, the commentators, they have so many good people. I think that they can play around. I know there's a formula, right? Especially for Raw, it's one non-wrestling guy and a wrestler or two ex-wrestlers. So they got to have that because you got to be able to call the action from a first-hand kind of perspective and some of that first-hand hands-on knowledge. But man, and I know it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder than it was when it was JR and the King because there's social media and there's all these angles and they're working like 500 nights a week and they're 50 million people watching. Obviously, it's exaggeration, but I think that's the topic for next time.
Well, to get back onto the Rusev Lana, all that, the problem with all of it is there's 3 belts. You got your heavyweight, your intercontinental, and your United States Championship. Yeah, you got your tag team belts, but for singles, there's only 3. So that means, stay with me here, do the math. That can only be three champions.
Yeah.
How many singles wrestlers do you have on the damn roster?
Hundreds.
So you end up having to have pointless feuds or job them out or quote unquote bury them.
Yeah, you got to find some reason for them to be fighting. They can't always be fighting over a title.
Exactly. I mean, what are they going to do? Roman Reigns comes out on SmackDown this week and throws his hat in the ring for the Money in the Bank.
I like that opening to SmackDown.
I like it, but Roman Reigns is jumping to Money in the Bank. What are they going to do with him in the Elimination Chamber? Is he not wrestling?
Take a night off.
And Randy Orton hasn't been back since Payback. So what's going to happen there? You're going to put Randy Orton and Roman Reigns both in the ladder match for Money in the Bank? And then one of them gets it, and we have exactly what we had last month.
I don't like big guys winning ladder matches. No. It doesn't make any sense. They're too tall. Let's do a few minutes on Elimination Chamber. We are going to do a special release. We're going to force Mr. Producer to work late nights for free to get our Elimination Chamber preview show out to you guys minutes after it is recorded while it's still hot out of our mouths. So that'll be coming to you guys next week, Friday night. Set your calendars. Set a reminder on your phone. Tell your grandma to call you Friday evening to remind you to download it. Subscribe to it, better yet. That way you don't have to worry about it. It just downloads and you can listen to it whenever. But I think I got an important thing I want to get off my chest here. I think we got to pull our truth out of the Elimination Chamber match and stick in John Cena. John Cena's never had the IC title, and he needs it. No? That's a no?
When we're doing the editing, please edit crickets into that.
No.
Because I have nothing to say for that. You're going to let John Cena... I like him. I don't think he buries talent, but if you put him in the Intercontinental Championship match,
let him win.
I'm going to go ahead and say that he buries talent.
Yeah, he'll bury them all.
You're going to let him hold 2 belts at once.
No, just let him give the U.S. belt to R-Truth or something. And I don't know. No, I do find it funny, though, how people make the argument that John Cena always wins, but he's never even held the Intercontinental title. But yet he's burying everybody company-wide. But I don't know. Elimination Chamber should be a good match. I'm really interested to see the tag team match. I think it's going to be crazy. But like I said, we will push that to next week. We will cover it in depth next week. We will get that show out to you. We did get some feedback from the WWE guy. Shout out to the WWE guy on Twitter. Or is it that WWE guy, or is it the WWE guy?
I'm that WWE guy, I believe is his for his handle. But yeah, we were definitely doing some talking, and he was a little confused because he was listening to the Payback predictions on a Monday or a Tuesday, and Payback had been on Sunday.
Yeah,
and I didn't even think about it because that was our first prediction show.
We're new.
And that was a great bit of advice. We will definitely have that out to you guys Friday night on Podbean and most likely Saturday morning for iTunes, so that you can listen to it before the pay-per-view, which makes
Sit
a
down
whole
with
bunch
your
of
family,
sense.
Get you a nice bucket KFC chicken and just sit down and listen to it. Enjoy it. Speaking of enjoying,
We're not sponsored by KFC, but if you guys would like to,
we would
love to be.
We'll take chicken as a sponsorship because we're both, large. So that pretty much wraps up our portion of the show. We got some audio gold for your guys' ears right now. We've got the interview with the Witch King of Wrestling, Randy Terrez. Awesome dude, like we said before. Great worker, great guy. So yeah, he's here, formerly of OVW. He's here with us. He's going to do about 20 minutes with us. So,
Without further ado, Randy Terrez.
Here he is. Randy, how's it going, man? Can you hear us?
Yes, sir. How you doing, man?
Oh, we're doing all right, man. We're doing all right. It took us a while to get this whole Skype thing figured out, man. So hopefully,
Skype, man, it sucks.
yeah, man, it's totally bogus. So
yeah, all about Uvu. No.
Yeah, we'll have to make a switch, man. I don't know, but for now this is working for us, so we'll figure it out as we go.
Yeah, man.
All right, so I guess we're ready to roll on this thing, man. So I don't know where to start or what you really want to talk about. We definitely want to talk about your last match in OVW.
Okay.
What was going through your head during that match, man? I mean, it was a loser leaves OVW match, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, when it was billed, it was me and my former partner, which was the Mexicution of Roberto De Luna. We were just we're kind of going pretty strong as a tag team. We were probably one of the most versatile tag teams because we were. I had the quote unquote the speed and the lucha background, and he was the powerhouse of the team. So we really built up La Familia, and that's what we're priding ourselves up. And then it's just over the course of a couple of months, we were starting to kind of break down, and I was just trying to get the win any possible way I could. So I was into cheating and using the brass knuckles at any given moment, and eventually he called me, and that's kind of where the match kind of gave us the place. We just could not stay in the same room together.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just an incredible, memorable match. I mean, it was very hard hitting, and the fans didn't get to see any of my lucha background on that one. I just kept it really simple, kept it real basic, kind of get the match done as best as possible that way. But the end result, of course, I'm no longer with OVW, but the fan appreciation after the match is really what hit home, and everybody gave the standing ovation, and I made amends with my partner, and then go backstage and I get that standing ovation from the boys in the back too. That's really what it's all about for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's definitely awesome. When you spoke about the brass knuckles, I watched that tag match against the Wild Boys, and he caught you and made the ref start the match again, and the Wild Boys ended up taking the titles from you. What were your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I was extremely pissed, for lack of better words. I mean, obviously, I'm one of those kind of guys that, I don't do this as a hobby. I've been doing this for about 15 years, and it's kind of one of those, you have to hustle to really make it in this wrestling business, and as far as everything that I do is of course, to support my family and support myself and put food on the table. So when someone interferes and takes away something I've been working for, that's really what just pissed me off.
Right. Yeah, that was definitely a good match. I was talking to you on Twitter a little bit about it the other day. That's me.
Yeah, man.
And, it was definitely a good match. Like you said, the Wild Boys were a little green, but, you were there for them. You're the veteran, took over, and you sold the matches. I saw one, he did a drop kick, and he was a little too close to you, but you sold it perfect. I don't think anybody was the wiser.
Mm. Well, the best part about Ohio Valley Wrestling is it's a good school, and that's really what you're going for. And people have always asked me, what do you think about Ohio Valley Wrestling? Well, I always tell them it could be the worst experience for you, or it could be the best experience. Worst being that if you go there, thinking that, hey, I'm going to just stick with my style, and they're going to have to adapt to me, you're not going to be successful. But if you go there with an open mind and ready to learn new styles and ready to fail, basically, because you're going to look stupid every now and then. You're going to make mistakes, and that's really what we're all there for. And everyone's kind of trying to learn the same kind of techniques, and we try to catch ourselves so we're not looking stupid together. But ultimately, we're all a big family. We have to get better together. So in that particular match, the Wild Boys are extremely talented bunch of guys, and then even. Execution, he's fairly green, but he's definitely catching on. So able to, really communicate with these guys and have a good match like that, definitely it makes me feel better that I could be able to manage a match like that where I'm able to be the ring general. And hopefully it adds more to their experience as well.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think being in Ohio Valley Wrestling, a lot of the guys who are at the top right now have come through there. I think guys back in the day. So it's pretty cool to have been there and been one of the top guys for a while. I think you're a 2-time tag champion. So you've done a lot of good stuff there, man. So hats off to you. What do you think's next for you, man? Oh no, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, what I've been doing for the past 15 years. I mean, I was born and raised in El Paso, Texas, and it's mostly a lucha libre background over here. You can go across the border to Juarez and do a lot of the lucha shows over there, and we would travel throughout Texas, Colorado, Arizona, and they would still have a little bit of a lucha mix, and that's what they would always ask for me, as opposed to doing the American style or Memphis style wrestling. But moving over to OVW definitely helped kind of expand what I wanted to do and develop my character, my techniques, and really what I'm doing now. I relocated back to El Paso just so I can kind of get back with family and see how they're doing and start traveling out from here again. But ultimately, the goal for this year is to head to Japan, hopefully by September.
Oh wow, man, it's a lofty goal.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're on the right track, though, man. I think with Lucha Underground's kind of, and I know they don't know what's going on with their second season. At least they haven't announced anything. But I think that style is becoming immensely popular here in the States. I mean, I know it's always been popular, across the border and everything, but now it's really taken off. They're putting together some good shows, man. That might be for a spot for you to land too.
Oh, definitely. I try to keep an open mind because ultimately the goal of any professional wrestler is to get the job. Whether it's with WWE, with TNA, Ring of Honor, you just try to make yourself better. I don't do this for the money. I do it for the art form. But of course, having a little bit of paycheck to help out the family always works.
Oh yeah,
Lucha Underground is doing some great stuff. The only thing I really hope for them, I wish them the best. I really hope that they don't burn themselves out like a lot of the new companies try to just throw out everything possible to impress the crowd. I really hope they stay consistent.
Yeah, they do a lot of weird stuff there, man. I was watching it a couple weeks ago, and I think they're teetering on the balance of, believable wrestling show and kind of way out there, kind of like soap opera type show. But I agree. I hope they stick with it and keep it about the wrestling and then mix the stories in there too, for sure.
Exactly.
So Japan, huh, man? Japan.
Yeah, I mean it's been a goal, to do a little bit of a tour. Originally I had an invite to go to Japan a long time ago when I was working a little bit with Chavo Senior and also Adi Romero Senior. They would always visit us back in El Paso with my trainer. And they had suggested, hey, go to Japan because that's where, guys that you're my stature, because I'm only 5'8", could actually succeed a little bit over there. not be in the realm of all these giants in WWE and all that, you know. But yeah, that's my goal right now. Try to get that goal, get the experience, and you know, hopefully a bigger company will glance my way.
Yeah, that's how a lot of guys do it. You know, you see, especially a lot of the guys that are in NXT right now. You know, they spent a lot of time over in Japan. So for sure, dude, I think that's definitely a solid plan.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
we wanted to ask you, man, what got you into wrestling when you know you started coming up? You know, what really, you know, what influenced you, or how'd you get into the business, man? Tell us a little bit about that.
Video game, actually. I mean, before I did anything, I was just a huge video game nerd, which I still am. I was killing everybody in Mortal Kombat X a while ago. But really what it was, I was just, my cousin, he used to watch wrestling a long time ago, and you see, you know, Earthquake and Tugboat and all those guys, and I never really got into it until I walked into an arcade and I saw WrestleMania, the arcade game. So I'm not sure if you guys remember that. It had a really hyper-realistic version of, you know, where it had like finishing moves similar to Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. And since then, I just loved it, and I went for watching Raw just religiously. And I was just a huge wrestling nerd. But really what it came down to, I was in college, my freshman year of college, and I found a flyer for a Lucha Libre show. It was within the area. So I got to try it. I had to go check it out, see how I get started, because this is my dream now. You know, I'm obsessed with it. But yeah, sure enough, I went to the show, and you know, all the guys, you know, were kind of ignoring me. All the wrestlers were like, "Oh, well, come back next show." You know, obviously they want my money. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna come. Yeah, they want me to come. You know, pay. Come here every single time, and he's just a mark, whatever. But eventually, I found the right one. I found Hurricane Hector, and he said, "Well, you know what? I'm gonna do you a solid. Come to training, you know, next week, and we'll see what you got." And I did the worst thing possible, and I said, "Hey, you know what? Let me just go to watch." You know, which is the wrong thing to say if you're ever trying to start in the wrestling business. You know, never go to watch. You want to go there to actually start to train. Yeah. You know, because all these guys just looked at me like, "Who's this? You know, friggin' guy? He's some mark here, just trying to steal the business." You know, but and the thing about the way it is in El Paso, it's very old school, very close-minded. It's only a select people that were able to come to training session. It's very family-oriented. If you're not invited, then, you know, you're never going to get in the business. Whereas, you got the OVW has a school you can pay to get in. Shawn Michaels has a school. You know, this is kind of like a private invite, and, you know, if you bring a friend here, you're not going to come back ever again. But the thing about that, I mean, instead of like you see like these, like OVW has a really good school, and they start training you from the get-go, how to do a headlock and, you know, how to run the ropes and things of that nature. But really what I did, I just did, you know, somersault after somersault. I ran the ropes every now and then. I puked several hundred times before they actually said, "Hey, you know what, you're tough enough. Let me go ahead and, you know, teach you how to do a headlock, and we'll take it from there." You know? So, like in better words, I got lasting for about a good month before they ever taught me anything.
Yeah, that's probably how you got to break in. It's like, we'll just toss this guy around for a little bit, and then, you know, then we'll teach him a couple things. We'll still whoop his ass all the time, but, you know, at least he'll know something. Yeah.
Yeah, and really what it is, it created a lot of jealousy because the way it was, I mean, there wasn't like a graduation date like you see a lot of these schools. Hey, you paid a certain X amount of dollars, you will get your first match within 3 months. It really is, as soon as you're able to defend yourself and not embarrass your teacher, then you can go out and actually have a match. And some of these guys, you know, are going on a year or 2 years, and I was able to get my first match within 5 months. Wow. So that definitely made a lot of people jealous.
Yeah, for sure. I bet, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So you said when you were growing up, you were watching Raw religiously. Do you still follow the storylines for most of your mainstream?
Well, you know what? The thing about it is, like, when I first started actually wrestling, I was still watching wrestling pretty good. But our training was always on a Monday and a Wednesday, so I always missed Raw unless I recorded it. And then, after a while, I started, you know, I tape it and come back to it. But now that I've been doing it for so long, I kind of go and watch it. I can't sit there and watch it without critiquing it. You know, that's kind of one of those things. I can't sit there without, hey, you know what, this is just going to be work for me, so let me just pick this match apart, and they're like, oh, I did this wrong, they did that wrong, I could use this for my match, I could put this. I can't enjoy it without just studying it.
Yeah, for sure. It's like work. Feels like work, I bet.
Exactly.
So what are you thinking about Tough Enough, man? You gonna throw your hat in the ring for that, or what are you thinking?
Well, yeah, actually, I made a video. I do have my opinions on it because, I mean, obviously they're trying to get as many submissions on there because that's what it is. It's entertainment.
Yeah.
You know, they want to get as many people sending in their videos, and whoever looks pretty good, we'll get a shot in there for the reality show. That's good. I had some mixed opinions. I mean, I have a double wrestler saying, why are you going to waste your time with that? Just send in your stuff to WWE directly, But really, what it is, any possible way that you can get someone to look at you, that's really how you do it. Whether it's just a small little 30-second clip, a minute clip. Someone's always watching if you're doing it correctly. So it doesn't hurt. And then am I going to get picked? It's always there. It's not going to bother me if I don't. I'm always going to find a different way to get around it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think you're definitely probably more talented than what they go for. I remember watching Tough Enough when I was younger, and like you said, when you were back in El Paso, they taught you to run the ropes and the headlocks. That's what they're teaching at Tough Enough.
Exactly.
The episodes I watched, I think you're a better fit for maybe NXT.
Mm-hmm.
You already got the experience, and go in there and put your time in right there, 6 months to a year, and hopefully be on the main roster. So,
did you record your video in your bathroom like everybody else, or did you do it outside of the bathroom?
Whenever I try to record any kind of promos, I'm not sure if you see my YouTube page. I do every night. I try to make sure people have the right environment for mine. Or I do my own video editing as well. So what I did, I recorded mine and I put it on my bedroom. So I was able to have just a certain amount of light come in there and make sure that none of the capture dogs are in the room. Make sure that's make it look a little more professional.
You could have done it in the bathroom, man. Just pop out of the shower and be like, "Did you see the one? I don't know if you've seen it, man, but there's a dude and he's cutting his." And his mom opens the door to his bedroom, and she's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Mom, I'm cutting a promo in here." No, that's cool, man. We did catch one of your promos, and my cohort over here, he's the one that actually watched it all the way through. But Cody, talk to him about it, Cody.
It was the promo you cut on the Executioner right before this match, where you're telling them that they don't have money to pay you because they didn't get enough. So you told him let you have a night with his wife. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I mean, with that particular promo, and a lot of the promos I do, I try to maintain a certain kind of character, whether it's me being a good guy, bad guy. But I like to make sure I'm taking my audience on a verbal roller coaster. I want them to kind of love me a little bit, maybe even feel sorry for me at one point, and then make them laugh. And I want them to hate me, and then just they don't know what to feel. I wish I really think I succeeded in that because when I got there, the fans were cheering more for me. And I was a bad guy.
Are you a scripted promo guy, or are you off the top of your head type of guy?
Usually off the top of my head. It just depends on what I want to say because really, just like any kind of public speaking thing, if you go in there with a script, you're just going to blow it up and you're going to look stupid. I have my key points in my head, what I want to say. I really just kind of shoot from the head most of the time.
Yeah, that's the way to go, man. You see a lot of these promos on Raw, and you could tell they're just reading a card, and it's no fun.
Yeah, and there's no emotion to that, really, and that's really what the business is. Wrestling. Yeah, we have headlocks and suplexes, which is all fun. That's great. And you got the monsters, you got the high flyers, but if you cannot connect with the audience, emotionally, then you'll never get them.
Yeah, for sure. That's what it's all about, man. They got to get behind you, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's really like the success with like Daniel Bryan. Everyone looks at him, they see the underdog, and they feel sorry. They want to see what he could do. Like, oh, holy crap, this guy could move, this guy could work, and let's cheer for this guy.
What do you think about Daniel Bryan? You think he's coming back, or you think he's hanging him up?
Well, honestly, I mean, if this is a legit thing, which it really looks like. I really think that he's probably hanging the towel up for a little bit.
Yeah. Maybe a
I
style
wouldn't say
change or
it's
something.
permanent. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's permanent. Like with me, I mean, I was doing high flying left and right, and then I took a bad spill, which destroyed my knee. It took me out of the game for about a year and a half. I had to change my style a little bit too. Then eventually I had to build up, and now I got all the high flying stuff back.
That's one thing I wanted to ask you, man. I heard about that. The commentators talking about your knee injury. Was it that bad? Was it the whole knee gone, or were they pumping it up a little bit?
Well, here's all the story behind it. Like every typical indie wrestler, we never had insurance. Who had time for that crap? Yeah. So I did. The match was with me versus Jesse Goddard. It was a dark match. So that the factor that nobody saw except for like the people in the audience that day. But what it was, Jesse Goddard was kind of coming up a little bit, and I was on the corner, ready to do my thrill kick, which is that top rope corkscrew I do. Mm-hmm. And so he got behind me. So the idea was I was going to, do a backflip and land on my feet and then hit him with something from there. But as soon as I landed, my knee buckled to the right, and I completely tore my ACL. I completely tore the PCL. I partially tore the MCL, and I flipped the meniscus somehow.
Damn it.
So that was
completely
your done.
Damn lower leg didn't fly off, dude.
Exactly. Yeah, and since I didn't have the insurance on there, I had to wait for about 3 months to get approval for a surgery. And since I couldn't stand on my own, I had to go get myself a real job. I actually had to duct tape my leg, to some sticks, and I went to go apply for a job that way. So it was kind of a pain in the ass, But once I got the surgery, even the doctor said, "Hey, you know what? You're probably never going to wrestle again. You're probably going to have to just get used to living your life, walking around with a cane and just, hurting all the time. It's never going to really heal. If you do some activity, it might be some light jogging, but you recommend it to stay away from wrestling." Well, of course, me being the stubborn jerk that I am, I have to keep on trying.
Yeah, well, you came back and you look great, man. I mean, we watched some of the recent matches, and hard to even tell. I mean, other than they talk about it a lot, but other than that, man, you couldn't tell in the way you move for sure.
Yeah, I made it a point that I needed to be, if not where I'm at, where I was before, just but even better, which I've proven that already. I think I'm actually, squatting more than I've ever squat before, new leg press, all that. Every lucha stuff I used to do before, it's all there. So I'm completely 100% healed on that.
What was the recovery process like? Was there any setbacks to where you were just like, you know what, maybe I am done? Would that ever go through your head?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as that night happened, that was the first time I went home, and the way it is with me, as soon as I get hurt, I laugh for some reason. I went home and I was cracking up like crazy, and then making all these jokes and telling everyone I was fine, but then as soon as I got left alone in the room, I just burst into tears, like, well, my career's over, But and every day I was suicidal, this is my career. Because even though I got the damn bachelor's degree in management, I don't see myself as that. I see myself as a wrestler.
Yeah, it's probably a hard transition to make, from the squared circle back to the office for sure.
Exactly. So once that's removed from me, and that just removed my identity. So I couldn't take that. But as soon as the surgery happened, which, thankfully I have the greatest wife in the world. She was, cleaning me in the shower. She would scrub me, because I was just completely useless. One, because I was depressed and I wanted to kill myself, but the other thing is I couldn't move at all.
Yeah.
But she helped me move around. She worked 2 jobs for us, and she was really taking care of us. And I went through the rehab, and I was doing all that and hurting all the time. But, 6 months of rehab, I was able to walk without the brace. And then it took another 6 months to get in the ring. I was moving around. I did a couple matches here and there, but I really wasn't pushing it too hard until about a year later. So I was really out for about 2 years before I went back into OVW.
That's awesome, man. Well, you're back. You look good. Hopefully this thing in Japan kicks off, man. Until then, hope to see you around. We're pretty much at the time. You got anything else you want to say? Any parting shots, man, before we wrap this up?
You know what? I know you guys have a lot of, guys who are trying to aspire to be wrestlers. And one of the things that my trainer always says is just be humble. And the thing that I really enjoy doing, I have my goals set to Japan, maybe WWE, but ultimately it's all about giving back to a lot of these wrestlers, especially the ones who are training to be, superstar. A couple words of advice to them, I guess, would be: one, stay humble. Two, remember, you see the same people going up as you do on the way down. So always be, respectful towards everybody. But ultimately, just never give up on your dream, man. That's really what it is. Because you're gonna have all those days where nothing is going right, but just that one day, that's the one that gets you.
Awesome, man. Couldn't agree more, man. All right, guys. Well, that's Randy Terrez, man.
Thank you so much, Randy. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
I appreciate it. You guys have a good one.
You too, man. Talk to you soon.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, guys. That was Randy Terrez, the luchador from El Paso, Texas. Great guy. Hope you loved it. We loved it. We had a fun time talking to him. Hope to talk to him soon. Hope to keep up with him on his journeys through Japan, if that's the route he chooses to go. Really, really a great guy. Check him out on YouTube. He's got a ton of matches on YouTube. If you like wrestling, if you like watching wrestling for the wrestling, check out Randy Terrez on YouTube, man.
Follow him on Twitter, Facebook.
Yeah, he's a great guy, man. We had a fun time talking to him. Wish we could have had him on longer, but, we're going to have more episodes. So I think we're pretty much at the end of our time here. Cody, what do you think, man?
Definitely, I think it was a solid episode once again. Next week, I think we'll be bringing you the Elimination Chamber predictions.
Coming in hot, going to win this deal.
Talk a little bit about that.
Are we going to roll with the cumulative points? Oh, I never told you guys about that, huh? So I had this brilliant idea that we should go cumulative points. So carry over the points from last time to this time, and, it puts people like at Amanda at a disadvantage because she got like 3 points. But, I think it's better, man. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know, because I just feel like whoever won already has a leg up.
That's a champion's advantage.
There is no champion's advantage. What's the advantage? On a pay-per-view, what's the advantage? There's no home field advantage. It's very rare you're wrestling in your hometown. So
unless you're Dean Ambrose, then you're probably over in it.
I think we keep it how it is. Start fresh. You get your props for winning the belt, and you stay 0-0.
That's Cody. He hasn't embraced change since 2008.
2000. A lot longer than that, but I've had the same phone number since 15.
Yeah, same haircut since he got rid of the mullet, which I think you should bring back. I think you should bring back the mullet and the jean jacket. I like that look for you.
Jean jacket's always solid, dude.
Yeah, well, you can't go wrong with the jean jacket.
Denim doesn't go out of style.
But you were wearing denim on denim with a denim T-shirt, so you were denimed out. With
denim suit, dude. Denim 3-piece suit.
Denim all day, baby. A denim tie.
I had a tie. You just couldn't see it because it blended in with the shirt.
Had to get it custom made. It takes some old Levi's down to a seamstress. Well, you wouldn't cut Levi's, but maybe some Lee's. And
at one point, I had the tie acid washed.
This is a stone wash tie. This is the Denim Review Hour with Cody. I don't know what to say his last name.
Yeah, keep me off air like that, dude.
I almost blew it. I
try to live a private life.
Yeah. Most people who have a podcast and are all over Twitter lead a very private life. I understand that. You don't want to be out there. You don't want to just put yourself out there. And I understand that. I can respect that, Cody. But, all right, guys. Well, hey, if you like the show, like we said before, if you didn't like the show, then you're probably just a loser. That's some cheap heat. I've come around to cheap heat since the first episode. For you legacy listeners who have been with us all the way since episode 1, way back when, earlier this month, you'll remember that I was devoutly against cheap heat. I've since turned the corner, and I'm now using it in my everyday life, the day-to-day operations. So, but if you liked it, look us up on Twitter, Facebook. We're yet to get on Instagram because we don't really see the need. But heck, man, we might get on there. Follow us on Twitter.
Retweets, shares,
all day.
favors,
little stars.
Follow Fridays today.
Yeah, we didn't do that. I haven't been doing that. Simple fact of the matter is, with so many followers, it's just hard to keep up with all of them. There's literally tens of followers. So we're getting up there. Hey, we're kicking the door down to 500. Last time we spoke, we were barely at 2. So we're growing at an insane pace. So, just if you like the show, spread the word. If you hate the show, spread the word about how much it sucks. Tell your friends to download this sucky wrestling podcast. And, give us some feedback. Email us, nearfallpod@gmail.com. Get to us on Twitter @nearfallpod. Find us on Facebook, the Nearfall Podcast. We'll be here. It'll be me, Cody, and the producer, Mr. Bill, William, Justin, Pemble, coming to you every week. And we're not going to stop. We're going to keep it coming in hot. We hope to get some more guests in here for you guys, for your listening pleasure. I think we really came out of the gate strong with Randy. It was a great interview, great talking to him. So I think with that, we're signing off, man.
Until next week. Thanks, guys.
Bye.